A vast, dangerous and hidden trade in old televisions, computers and other electrical equipment is flowing from rich Western nations to developing countries in Asia and Africa. Electronic waste, or e-waste as it's often known, is fast becoming one of the biggest global threats to human health and the environment. As more and more electronic junk is burnt, broken up or stripped of valuable second-hand parts, a cocktail of dangerous toxic chemicals and heavy metals is being released. Workers in the crude recycling facilities are exposed to harmful, persistent chemicals which then find their way into the atmosphere and into water supplies. Recent figures from the EU show European consumers are creating 8.7 million tons of e-waste every year. Worryingly, only a quarter of this, around 2.1 million tons, is returned and recycled. The rest simply disappears and becomes part of the hidden flow of e-waste, much of it ending up in African countries like Ghana and Nigeria.
Ghana is increasingly becoming a dumping grounds for e-waste, mainly from Europe and the United States of America. Here we're talking about tons, several tons of obsolete, discarded computers. Talk about the monitors and all that. You know, the problem is that we don't have the mechanism or the system in place in this country to recycle these wastes. Some come in under the guise of donations, but when you examine the items, they don't work. You know, so one would wonder why somebody would want to donate items that don't work. If it is not dumping, it's just a matter of, or it's just a way to get rid of these computers from Europe to Africa. When you go to the site where these items are dumped, you see a lot of old computers dumped in these rivers. The lead, the mercury, and all the other toxins bioaccumulate. That is to say that they stay in the food chain. People who break open these cathode ray tubes tell me that they have nausea, they have headaches, they have respiratory problems as a result of breaking these things and burning the wires. They inhale a lot of fumes, and also residents in the neighborhood inhale a lot of fumes from the burning processes. Sometimes you even find children breaking these cathode ray tubes apart just to get the wires and other metals to sell.
European regulations based on the Basel Convention explicitly forbid the export of hazardous waste from wealthy nations to developing countries like Ghana and Nigeria. These rules apply even when the waste is destined for recycling. But unscrupulous dealers have found a loophole by claiming that end-of-life electrical goods are either charitable donations or will be sold second-hand.
The problem is this. We have about 500,000 computers, used computers, coming into Nigeria through the Lagos port every month, and only 25% of these are working. The remaining 75% is junk, it's nothing but waste. And of course, because the volume is so large, the people who trade in this then just burn them like ordinary refuse. So they are put on refuse dumps and set on fire. And our studies have shown that the levels of metals in this waste are far beyond the threshold limits set by Europe. And furthermore too, the soils and plants in these areas have extremely high levels of heavy metals, just showing the adverse impact of this waste on the environment. Dumping occurs through various routes and disguises. A non-governmental organization based in Lagos received offer of a donation of 10,000 computers from an organization in UK as donation, but he decided to go over there and get them pre-tested before shipping, and he found that only it's less than 2,000 that are working. So if only 20% is working, what do you do with the 80% waste?
The vast hidden flow of e-waste from Europe to Africa is growing by the day. It's up to the EU to enforce the regulations and the Basel Convention, which should prevent this unsustainable and inequitable trade. If it doesn't take action, the environmental and human impacts of toxic dump sites like these will become a truly global problem.